Yo, what's good, man? It's your boy Eric Bellinger, chilling right here. You already know what time it is, man. Valet going crazy, CSP2 going crazy. You know what I'm saying? R&B is back. R&B has never left in the first place. But man, it's your boy Eric Bellinger, and right now you're watching Stuff Fly People Like TV. Keep it live. Peace. We out here promoting Valet, the single with Fetty Wap and 2 Chainz, which is, the lead single to push the project, Cuffin' Season Part 2, 9-track EP, a couple bonuses on there, R&B, gangsta R&B, hood R&B, smooth R&B, innovative R&B, and I'm just happy to be a part of the new wave. For me, I just don't stop writing. I just keep writing, and everybody has a hobby, maybe away from music, but my hobby is still to be writing. When I take a day off, I find myself somehow in a studio, because a lot of my friends are either producers or writers or artists. So when I take a day off, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna chill today. I'm gonna just go to their session and chill, you know what I mean? Because it's fun to me at the studio, and when your vibe is all the way right, you really don't want to leave. And sure enough, I end up in the booth every time. So I just got a crazy catalog. I got 2 more projects that are already done that I just put out Cuffin' Season Part 2, and I got 2 more projects, and I'm gonna continue working as I put those out to have the next 2 done. I don't never put something out not having something in the chamber. Man, my life, everything is my life. When I started off and I did Born to Sing Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, it was just records that I gathered up. Some songs I wrote, some songs I didn't write, some songs were demos that I recorded my voice on so that the writer could try to shop it. Some songs were records maybe that I wrote for Trey or for Usher that they didn't pick up. And it was just songs. It was always just compiled songs. It was never an identity. It was never a brand. It was never a strategic branding standpoint behind the records. It was just good songs. But then as time progressed and I figured out who Eric Bellinger, the artist, was, I was able to come up with The Rebirth, which was the rebirth of me, in essence. You got Born to Sing. I just kept the theme with Born to Sing. Then I did The Rebirth, and after that, it just kind of made sense to continue to tell my personal story. After The Rebirth, you had Choose Up season. I was single. I was out here. I'm trying to see who's who. I'm choosing up. And then after I chose up, you got Cuffin' Season. People know me as a writer. That's like the main thing, and it's really tough to get rid of that stigma. Like, that's just the songwriter. That's, because people see me behind the scenes, so it's hard, to actually, say for example, your homeboy's name was John or something, and then he changed his name, was like, yo, man, I want y'all to start calling me, John the Great. I need y'all to start, that's what we doing right now. You just gonna be like, John, what up? When you see him. So it's the same thing, it's like people just know me as a songwriter, and I'm honestly not tripping. I look at it like, yo, I'm gonna continue to write. I'm not gonna stop writing, so you gonna continue to recognize me as a songwriter, but I'm gonna keep hitting you with these joints, and I'm gonna keep putting these projects out, and I'm building a fan base organically around everything I'm doing. Because a lot of people that know me first as a songwriter, they're like, that's the songwriter. But the people that introduced to me first by my music and by my artistry, they like, okay, that's Eric Bellinger, the singer, so everybody has their own thing. I think that's one of the things with me. Another thing is I don't have a deal. I don't have no major deal, so they comparing me to a lot of the guys, but it's like, yo, what we doing it independent, and it's a different grind. I'm glad that I didn't have to, go that route, because they tend to be not even on purpose, but just spoiled, because they used to the label taking care of the radio budget. They used to the label booking their shows. They used to the label doing all these things, and the labels ain't doing that no more. So it's kind of harder for them to step outside of the comfort zone and be like, okay, now I'm gonna just become this ultimate hustler, this ultimate, you feel me, I'm gonna go out here and get it on my own, because a lot of it, there was more artist development. As an artist, I believe in myself 10,000,000%. I look at everything that I'm doing like it's right. What I'm saying? The music is right. The sound is right. The look is right. Everything we're doing is, it coincides, it's cohesive. And when somebody of that level sees the vision, it's complimenting, it's rewarding, you know what I'm saying, to be like, okay, cool, if you was rocking with Jay-Z when you saw Rockefeller and he brought all that to the table, and you rocking with Eric Bellinger and YFS the same way, you know what I'm saying, let's get this money. 2016, we starting off with another tour. You know, we gonna be announcing that real soon. We just staying busy, you know, making sure we stay in people's face. I got more music to be dropping. I got the visual, the valet video should be out soon at the top of the year, and just more. I'm just not stopping, you know, just the consistent Eric Bellinger that people know. I'm gonna just continue to give them that. Oh man, we got some serious situations. I don't know, you know, how far we are as far as like announcing, you know, the artists on the label, but it is some other artists that we've been working with heavy, you know, that I do want to make mention of. A-Rock, who's a crazy rapper, you know, you heard him on a lot of my music. Neiman manages him as well, so, you know, the same, you know, tactic and the same technique he, you know, came with me, we get to watch Neem do it on the rap side, so I'm super proud of him with that. And then we got Victoria Monet, who's another artist that, you know, we working with, and, you know, it's dope just to build your own situation, you know. And, you know, I got approached by the Good Musics and the Young Moneys, and I just was like, I respect it, you know, but the same attention that everybody's giving Lil Wayne and everybody just giving, you know what I'm saying, Kanye, I need that. Well, as far as on a writing standpoint, man, I've really got in there with everybody that I wanted to work with, as far as especially on the R&B side. Rappers, you know, I didn't really go too hard, so now I'm trying to get in there and do hooks for as many people as possible and be on, you know, in many different territories and different sounds and genres as possible. But man, I've written, you know, with everybody, and, you know, just to get them same people, you know, to try to maybe do some collabs, like you said, do some duos, do some duets, you know, because I've been in with the Rihannas, I've been in with, you know, Drake, Usher, Chris Brown, Justin Bieber, Trey Songz, you name it, you know, working on their project. Okay, if I were to do a collab album, I think I might have to call on Beyonce, just to be all the way real. I think, you know, with the passion, you know, with the sincerity, with the vocal inflections, with the stylistics of her runs, sonically, everything, you know, I think what she's doing is the best. And what I'm doing, I'm trying to be the best. I'm not trying to just be like, oh yeah, I make R&B songs. You know, when I'm taking my time on these records, you know, I'm not bouncing it from Pro Tools if I don't think people's eyes are gonna be like this and their ears are gonna be raised when they're listening. I'm excited for Kendrick though, with the 11 nominations, you know. After, you know, the last year, I feel like they was like, we gotta make up for it, you know. He was maybe not necessarily snubbed, but just he was under their radar, you know. They just didn't notice everything that he was doing. And I think that the situation with Macklemore when he won, and, you know, he gave it up to Kendrick, like all that stuff just brought awareness to Kendrick Lamar. And, you know, all the people on the board, all the people on the Grammy committee were able to say, okay, let's pay more, you know, close attention. And then I think Kendrick and his team, it's like they went harder to try to get the Grammy, you know what I mean, rather than just putting out good music. It's like when I heard I was like, oh yeah, they're going hard. Honestly, it's interesting because I come from the old school, you know. I come from studying Michael Jackson, I come from studying Usher, and, you know, when these guys get on stage, they not just wearing regular clothes, you know, growing up, you know. So to be an artist now, my first instinct is I need to go up on stage in costume. You know, I always was thinking like, man, I can't do regular, I have to look like a superstar, I have to look like an artist. And everybody, you know, kind of was like, man, I don't know, them days is kind of over. Like, people is really just going out there and, you know, what they would normally wear, because people want to just see you and see, you know, you for who you are. So I started paying a little bit more attention. It's like, okay, I'm looking at Chris Brown, I'm like, okay, he's wearing, you know, some fun clothes. And then I'm looking at, you know, Trey. So I'm looking at just everybody, and I do see that it toned down a lot. You know, it toned down from when it was like they're matching. You know, the group is matching. They got color coordination with the band, and you don't see too much of that anymore. So I tried my best to come up with a middle ground. Like, okay, I'm gonna tone it down, but I'm still gonna try to make sure it's not the average tone down. You know what I mean? So I like to make sure it's relatable, but at the same time, you gotta have your couple items that pop. Fly to me is just honestly the swag, the coolest thing possible. You know, when you fly, you looking down. You know what I'm saying? You like, oh, okay, I see y'all. I'm up here though. Even though it's right, you still at the ground level. It's a mentality. You know what I'm saying? It's a thought process. You know, that elevates your mind and your thoughts to make sure you're always in the clouds.